Hello and welcome. This is the first supplementary lesson, um, the tiny teacher. So, who is this tiny teacher? As you could see from the pictures, you can understand it is none other the ant. So, the smallest creature, the dedication it has towards the duties assigned to it. So, that is the main theme of the lesson, the hard work and the dedication the ant has. So let's start with the lesson. Before we begin our lesson, I just want to ask a few questions. So the first question for you: which is the smallest and the wisest insect? You can just think. So let's reveal the answer. It's the ant. So the ant is the smallest and the wisest insect. And the next question is, where do the ants live? So the ants live in an anthill or a nest. So that is called as an anthill or nest. What are the young ones of an ant called? So the baby ant is called as grubs. Who is the mother of the entire population of the colony? As we all know, ants live in a colony. So who is the head of all these? It is a queen ant. What does the ant use to talk or to pass message? If the ants want to pass on message, what do they use? So they use their feelers or antennae.
Okay, come on everyone, we're behind schedule. You know what's gotta be done. Move it, move it, move it. Hey, you there, pick up the pace. You're falling behind. What is happening, sir? Come on, let's go. Everyone, pull together. We got a threat to our hands. You there. Here we go.
So now tell me, which is the smallest, the wisest, the tiny, the hardworking, the commonest, and the intelligent creature, the smallest insect? So it is the mosquito, or is it the fly, or is it the worm, or is it the bedbug, or is it the beetle? No, it is none of these. It is the ant, which is the commonest, smallest, wisest, tiny, hardworking, and intelligent. So I'm using adjective here. So we have learned some grammar. We are using adjective to describe the ant. So do you know that there are people who keep these ants as their pet and watch their behavior every day, all what the ant does? And when you witness the life of an ant, you would not believe the life, the work that it does. Such a small creature doing so much of work. It's something that is unbelievable. So let's see what is the life of an ant. As we had already seen, the ant uses its antennae or antenna or the feelers to talk or pass messages with its fellow ant. Have you ever seen a row of ants moving up or down the wall? If you have seen so, what is so special? What did you witness when you have seen these ants crawling up the wall? So if you see these ants when they're moving up on the wall, they greet their fellow ants, those who are coming in the opposite direction, with the help of their feelers or antennae. So let me tell you what is an antenna, the difference between an antenna and an antennae. Now, what is an antenna? Antenna is a sensory organ of the ant. So, as you could see, the ant has two antennas. So, out of the two antennas together, it is called as antennae. It is the plural form of antenna. If you check out in the dictionary, you'll be able to see it as antennas and antennae. So this antennas is used for the the TV related thing, but for this ant sensory organ, we use antennae. The plural form of antenna is antennae and not antennas. So out of these ants, there are different types of ants, and out of that, right from our childhood, the most commonest ants that we've been witnessing are the red ants and the black ants. Where do you and I live? We have a beautiful house to live in. Same way, the ants also have a beautiful home called as nests or ant hills. Now, in their homes, they have hundreds of little rooms and passages. From the hundreds of rooms and passages, the queen ant lays eggs in some of the rooms, and the worker ant has some of the rooms reserved as their quarters, and some rooms are being used for storing food. It is used as a storehouse for preserving food in the future. And the soldiers have their separate rooms or separate barracks. Barracks are the homes for soldiers. So some rooms are being nurseries for the young ones. So the young one of an ant is called as grubs. So these nurseries are being taken care of by the workers, and the workers spend most of their time in searching food. It is the sole duty of the worker ant to go in search of food and to preserve food, and no soldier will ever try to go and search for food, and no worker ant or has tried to enter the soldier's house or the barrack. Neither the soldier or the worker or the cleaner has tried to harm the baby ant or the grub. So on the whole, if you see, the life of an ant is very peaceful. They lead a very peaceful life, as each one of them do their share of work in a very intelligent and a brave way, and they do not fight with the other ants or with the other members of the group, and so they lead a peaceful life. Just as we have a prime minister for the country and a chief minister for the state, the ants also have a head to govern them. So, who is that? It is a queen ant. So, this queen ant is a mother for the entire population who are living in that colony. And this queen ant lives for almost 15 years. So, one day, what this queen ant would do on a nice summer day, it would leave the nest and it would go in search for a male ant. So the male ant is called as a drone. So the queen ant goes in search of a drone high up in the air. So it's not somewhere down. It searches for its male partner in the air. So once it returns to the earth, it gets rid of its wings. It just bites and throws away its wings. And after that, the only work that it does is to lay eggs. So these eggs hatch and become tiny ants called as grubs. And it is the soldier ants who take complete care of them. They are supposed to guard them and protect them. So it is the work of the worker ant to feed and clean them and to carry them about to get some fresh air, sunshine, and to do some exercise. After 2 or 3 weeks, these grubs they become cocoons, and they lie for almost 3 weeks or sometimes even more without doing any activity or without food. They just simply lie. And after 3 weeks, the cocoon breaks open and the cocoon becomes an ant. So after it becomes an perfect ant, it is now time for it to get itself trained. So what it does is it goes and learns its duties from the older ant, whether it can be as a worker or as a soldier or as a builder or as a cleaner. After the ant gets itself trained, they are all set to go and do their work in the world. And do you know that these ant hills are not just home for the ants alone, but they are also homes for beetles, greenfly, and many other creatures? Do you have any idea why these ants allow alien creatures to live in their nest? Because just as we have pet animals like cats and dogs to play with us, these ants also have some pets. And some of them give some pleasant smell to the ants which they like, and some give some sweet juices, and some are as pets to them. Just as we have cows to give us milk, the ants use this green fly to give them honeydew. Just by touching their antenna, they get the honeydew, like how we get milk from the cow. So, after seeing so much about the ants, do you think we humans have learned as much as the ants have learned? Yes, we do have to agree to it that we have learned enough like the ants, but we haven't used our learning for a good use. We still have to learn few things from this tiny teacher, the ant, is the artwork, the sense of duty and discipline, cleanliness, care for the young ones, and above all, it's a firm loyalty to the land where they live. I hope you had understood the lesson and you had learned a lot about ants, facts about them, and also would have taken some morals from to be learned from them. So, thank you for watching.